Hello, Kia here, coming into a game between Mogabait and Igorotyra. We see Igor over here on the UDFW split, and Mogabait over here on the full faction under depths. So it seems like the game is stalled a little bit, just contesting around this mid font. Neither player wants to be the one that rushes in too early. We see Igor contesting the font with a bone mine, very standard Forsaken Waste shenanigans, and no real range champions on the side of Mogabait here to pluck away at this bone mine from a long distance. That's definitely, it seems like what's causing this stall, because for Mogabait to kind of run in here and knock out this bone mine, it's going to have to kind of get in the danger zone, so to speak. And additionally, even once you kill this bone mine, it's going to summon more skeletons, so there's not a great reason to rush in and do that. And they're both on one font, right? So this mid font, I think they're kind of both happy just sitting back, waiting for the other person to make the first move. So who will it be? So it's worth noting that Mogabait over here with his Scorched Dwarf, that's going to make 9 Nora per turn for him. So he's actually up a little bit in this stall game, because depending on how long this Scorched Dwarf's out, it might have already paid for itself, or it will soon. So that's something worth considering, is that Mogabait is a little bit happier potentially to sit in this stall. Although I think Igor probably has a better late scaling battle group. You got some summons from the Archmage, both the Bone Circle Archmage, and some other tools with this boost skeletons. I think that UD you generally want to kind of fight early, rush in. So the Angel of Pain, it's waiting on becoming intensified, so that's potentially one thing to wait for. So we see the skill form starting to move in. It's going to get some Fuel Rage from its friends here. 3. Not quite sure what his plan. Yeah, he's just going to move it back. Decides that he can't really do anything interesting. Guess he's just having fun here. Fuel Rage in his skill form, swinging it around. So we've got the Shadow Rake here, now in stasis. So, of course, when it comes into play, it is pacified and immobile for 3 turns. So this is, I guess, another way to kind of take advantage of the stall, is start to play out your stasis champs. And if nothing happens, you basically get them for free, right? So, I don't know exactly how much Nora is saved by this stasis, but 8 speed is quite a lot of speed. So I think it's probably a lot of Nora. So that's kind of another way of kind of generating Nora, is take advantage of this slow tempo and just let your stasis champs come out. We see the Bach Gatekeeper also coming out. This one pairs really well with Price of Victory, of course, because it gets +4 damage and +2 defense when the Shriner avatar is less than half its health. So that'll bring it up to 18 damage for defense. And so I expect on the big turn, when things actually start happening, we'll probably see a Price of Victory come out to give, so that's going to give 2 AP to all the champs on Moogbait's side, and another +5 hit points health. So I might have chosen to watch a pretty slow game here. I'm hoping that one of them comes in to make a move. But it's kind of tricky. In this position, there's really no reason to force this fight. I think that both Igor and Mogabait are strong, or good enough players to acknowledge that. So this could be definitely what changes the tide. Is this Overlord actually gives Igor a pretty strong engage because he can fuel rage this all up, give it 4 AP this turn, and okay, chooses to not fuel rage with the Skelliform. Yeah, they both have Unleash, so can unleash them both, but this fuel rage has a 1 turn cooldown, so champion can't fuel rage both of them. But what I was saying is that this Overlord, you know, it's going to be able to kind of run in here, do the invoke, and that might make way for Igor to actually start a engage and have it be favorable. So again, you know, Mogabait has the Scorched Dwarf, really does not need to fight. You see an Overlord come in here from Mogabait, so Overlord versus Overlord. It's going to do the same thing, just fuel rage that puppy up, put some gas in the tank. I would expect to see it move up and get fuel rage from all of these champs. So we're kind of going to move into late game without any kills coming down. So interestingly, I suspect that neither of these players are probably going to be running AoEs, potentially some fireball from Mogabait's side, but I don't think the UDFW split is really running any spells like that. Okay, so turn passes back to Igor. Let's see if Igor is going to try to make this engage happen. It's kind of tricky because you only want to engage if you think you can pick off more than one champion. Because with the amount of champions and AP on the other side, your opponent is probably going to be able to get 1 or 2 kills back on you with more advantageous positioning. So are we going to see the invoke here? Now, I was saying that there isn't really AoE, but this invoke is exactly one big AoE, so I think that's why you see Mogabait moving his champions around so much, trying to get them out of this invoke range for when the invoke goes off. So Overlord can actually move up one more oh no, so it has to either pick, does it want to move here and get the Chosen, or does it want to move here and get the block Gatekeeper? It looks like choice is going to go for the Gatekeeper. So we see Invoke coming out here. It's going to hit 3 champions, shrink them down. Now, it's worth noting that this speed detriment, -3 speed, is going to take 3 max AP off of these champions, so the pin cushion is not going to have double tap next turn, and the Nefari Messenger also will not have double tap. So it seems like Igor is just kind of done waiting and decided to go in. Let's see how this turns out. So moves the champs to support the Overlord. So now, of course, Mogabait is going to get to use his own Overlord to come in, and I think this invoke is going to be very strong counter invoke. 1, 2, 3, 4, because he's going to be able to move all the way up here and basically get pretty much all these champs in the invoke. So it depends where he's going to want to move. Oh, okay, so the font actually kind of blocks. So he'd love to move right here, and then would get the Demon Lich and the Chosen in. But he's just going to choose to move 1 forward, get the Lich, doesn't get the Chosen, but still gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 procs on this invoke. Whereas Igor only got 3 invoke procs. And banner comes down. That's one advantage the full faction has, is that, you know, this 5 hit points across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 champions. It's a lot of hit points. Like I said, we see Price of Victory coming out, giving even more hit points. So they all have 10 max hit points. We see the Chosen, double tap. Angel of Pain also coming down for the single tap. Gonna kill off this Skitch Skell form. Put some damage on the Overlord. The Foreign Messenger with the whip is going to be able to give the Pincushion a second attack and then proc that Shrunken. So the second invoke trigger is down, and now Shadow Rake can come in, kill the Overlord. So this is looking very good, I think, for Mogabait. So we have to look for what is Igor's follow-up going to be. I don't think he's going to be able to get a kill on this Overlord. So this is kind of what I was talking about, right? Igor moved up with his Overlord, got 3 invokers, tried to go for the engage, but the counter engage was just way stronger with more invokes from Mogabait's Overlord, more damage coming out, and that Price of Victory allowing a very strong engage and multiple double taps from each of these champions, or multiple attacks. So we see the stun come out on the Overlord, the damage reduced by the Hunter Meek, and by the Shrunken. So only deals 7 damage. 7 damage? Oh right, because that is the -3 defense. Well, it had -1 defense. Now it's stunned. Okay, we see Retribution on the Bone Slave. It's a pretty common tactic. So that's actually going to proc the invoke really nicely. So triggers the invoke without any of the champions being caught in it. Now Broken Bones comes in, is able to get the Berserk attack. It's at 8 health now, so I think this Ritual of Destruction can actually come down and deal the final damage. Yes, so that's a perfect kill on the Overlord, which is really good news for Igor, but there's so many champions in position that are going to be able to move in now. Bone Circle Staff comes in on the Demon Lich, going to use Ritual of Destruction to get rid of that lesser Shadow Rake. It did not deal any acid damage to the closest enemy champion. That happens sometimes, I'm not quite sure why. So we see the giant Chosen beating down on the little Nefari Messenger. So we're going to put in some damage. Shrunken, so it has a lot less defense. So let's see where this goes now. So the Shrunken's going to be gone on Igor's next turn, so that's something to consider. The Broken Bones does a pretty good job of blocking this pathway. We see the Bach Enforcer comes out with Disbelief. Enemy illusions and summon units take 10 damage, able to destroy the Stitch Remains and the 2 Grave Warriors. Put a lot of damage on them. It's pretty effective there. So we see coming in some attacks on the Chosen. Worth noting that the Shadow Rake has Acid attack. So this Void Shield, which provides 1 rank of physical and 1 rank of magical, will not be prepared for the Acid attack, right? So that's going to be able to deal full damage. So Shadow Rake moves in. Okay, gets the Blade of the Sneak, which is going to give him Quest Kill Enemy, which unfortunately barely does not kill Chosen on this turn, but due to this Scoured, we'll kill it on the next turn. So it won't proc the Quest Kill Enemy, which is a little bit unfortunate, but getting the kill on that Osiris definitely very clutch, because next turn it probably would have had this Mark of Osiris trigger go off. So Angel of Pain, now intensified, has the 1/2 range, and plus 20 max hit points and plus 1 speed, so it's at 79 hit points with the 5 from the banner and the 5 from Price of Victory. So going to attack Broken Bones, make 1 split, kill the other. Now we can see it's 1, 2, 3 champions against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I'm so bad at math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this looks like a pretty clear wrap for Mogabait. Really good counter engage. You know, it's kind of, you know, you want to be able to go in there and get your engage and actually fight. You don't want to just wait there all game. So can't blame Igor for going in. I think Mogabait was definitely rewarded for patience, as well as having the Scorched Dwarf and the Shadow Rake, really able to take advantage of the free Norgen from them just kind of sitting around this font, as well as the kind of free stasis. You know, it did not really matter that the Shadow Rake was in stasis. So maybe would have been better to see an engage while the stasis was coming out, but you know, as noted, it was kind of hard to find that engage. So Igor is going to look for a kill here on the Angel of Pain, but it has Absorb and Hunter Walker, and of course 79 hit points with 2 defense, so it's going to be pretty hard to see that kill. Even a Retribution, you know, will not quite do that. So I think Igor is just looking at the board, trying to see if there's any way out. And I believe there is not. Okay, I see a mobilization out of Igor. 1 Berserk attack, 1 Grave Warrior. There's no way he has this kill. But I'm going to try to put some damage in. These champions are kind of down here, so they're a little bit out of the fight, but they'll be able to move in very quickly next turn. So yeah, we see the double tap from Demonologist. I think Igor did not recall that Absorb, but just puts the Set Ablaze on the Angel of Pain, just trying to ping it down, and that's also going to give it immobile and pacified, so it cannot do anything. And Igor will leave the game, so good game there. Definitely a good attempt at engaging from Igor, but a strong counter engage from Mogabait, and really good composition as well, I think, to win that stall. With a Nora Minor there, and the Stasis from the Shadow Rake, I think that was really well played, so good game, good game.